victims that were never, recovered, that were somehow bogged down in the water, that they're starting to decompose. And then they did some tests because they're trying to figure out if they could do any DNA, if they could match with any DNA. And they haven't been able to match with any DNA, but they have been able to match one of the feet to another one of the feet. A left foot that washed ashore like 4 months ago to a right foot that just recently washed ashore. It's from the same body, but they don't know who it is.
Whoa.
Weird, huh? And I'm like, well, until we can get any other kind of identifying.
Industrial skills, and after they have their industrial skills, they are our greatest workhorse, they are our greatest work ethic, and they can carry on, and someday, hopefully, we'll turn the whole West into it, but the Baptists in the East seem to just dominate down, and nobody's going to take away the Catholic Church, since that is the Church of the Mason Lamb. Yeah, it's just weird, they follow whatever doctrine, and to some extent, Masons have wrapped them, I mean, who better? An Italian? A mobster, maybe? Maybe they learned from that, maybe they do actually have their prophet in captivity, not saying that they are enslaving him, but just saying, you go where you want to go, and you go there well. But if you go where we want you to go, off of the path, we will kill you. But then that just distorts the whole society. It generates faggots and underworld breeds down there that you hardly wouldn't understand. But something inside of the Zion shelter in the locale is a hyper-generation of homosexuality that is the Greek antithesis of the Mormon dogma that we had to lay down. It was the only functioning control machine we could possibly create. I don't know. I mean, it was designed so well in the Mason way back when. He landed it, and he landed it well, and it was perfectly landed, so he slid the document to the boy. I don't know. Long migrations. Mormons traveled a lot. They were all over the place. I'm not quite certain how you could really go on to say that. England is crime. I'm sorry, sir, but you seem to believe that your founding fathers, and perhaps you have some of their tinge. I don't know what your interaction is with Mormons, but you sound as if you have the tinge on the outside. You sound as if you don't know what the father foundings are. I mean, we are the founding fathers. We have shaped this nation. It is constituted. With full amendment possibilities, we'll grant you that. Hence, we will even grant a Mormon the presidency. But we will kill the prophet. We would kill the prophet if the prophet became the president. Simply because that is our vice president, and Mormons are our tool. We already have claimed the vice president, and that, my dear, is the practicing Catholicism. Unfortunately, we had to plug into that dogma the Church of the Lamb. If we give them the Church of the Lamb, then they believe it's the Catholics. In fact, the whole idea is that they will one day recognize that they themselves are our workhorse. And as bright workhorses, we will have to feel guilty because we cannot set them out in the wild again. The path dogma will have disturbed them mentally way too much. A full reality capture, a truth context, or a truth capture, and a reality context. Well, I say it's reality context and truth capture devices. Basically, that's all we had to lay down. Everyone knows that language can function as a tool, but we have to narrow them as we would, have to damn and embarrass the pagan world until they finally catch on. God, we never meant it that drastically, but, well, we had to control the country. We had to own the country, and we had to create a destiny of the country. And if it wasn't our brother in dear Mexico down there, there is a dear friend/enemy that we once again learned from the Italians are the only non-workhorses that seem to be invading our little workhorse clan. They are good workhorses as well. So, but they're also one of the most difficult. So, our control is to allow Mormon infiltration up and down the coast of Brazil and Chile, Argentina. We'll keep a higher pressure on that area. If they cross out and go into certain mid-regions, there are too many primitive thoughts and patterns out there. They need not be quite as damaging. No, it's unfortunate that we have to go in and cause such a riot because the Mormon program was really bigger than we had assumed that it was. And it did infiltrate the far more populations than we actually had our agents patrolling. And so now we'll increase the pressure. You know, they're underwater baptismal gods that come up out of the water and, like Jupiter in Greek times. I mean, this is a myth. This is a actual living myth, folks. He's a man. Okay, Jupiter is a man on this earth. Okay, he was a man. Okay, kind of like Noah, except for Noah didn't live 900 years. You know, maybe this many generations, and that could be metaphorical for thought. But take it as you will. Anyway, I'm just saying that there's underworld, and there's overworld, and there's subworld, and then there's outer space. But subworld and underworld, underworld and overworld, birds. You know, Mormons can't tell the difference between the tortoise and the hare, and they can't, and a seagull and a turtle. In that they don't realize that the tortoise and the hare are racing, but the seagull and the turtle are friends, and that means that one goes where the other one goes, and that means that there's damages there. They live in it because the Mason philosophy did come first, and I mean we planted this nation, and we came over here So now we have a singular force, but we need international diplomats, and that has generated most definitely a White House that is metaphorical of the other White House, which we created that office. So we land the Mormons in place, but they have to be almost exactly halfway through the first basic history step that we're producing
So
here.
what's for
So we grant
dinner?
them, you know, the American afterworld, and we lay it out nicely with the three worlds. So let them actually have the terrestrial kingdom. I mean, by itself, that's great. You know, we're not there, so they can enjoy that. You know, we live on higher planets. Why we control the whole bit? But you know, it's funny when they start coming to Harvard, and they're almost dominating. I mean, let them have the whole humanities department. That wouldn't bother us at all because that's where we need workforces. But when the serious stuff comes, and they start bringing their business scheme, then sometimes you just gotta laugh and shuck it off and say, we created a monster, and here it is. And you know, anyways, teases it. He's great in that respect. I just, you know, it would really be nice if, well,
What?
Mormons could actually have their, well, somehow I feel as if I shouldn't tell you, but I guess it's okay, but I just somehow if Mormons could actually have that dream of the celestial kingdom that we planted. And I keep having to take credit for it, it comes from a long line of study, so you feel at one point that you have met your past, and that you have met your match. Masonry is not a truth capture device, as much as it is the truth capture devices that's first institutionalized. It is very, 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 very primitive. Mormons are like a nice, like the dollar bills pyramid with the eyeball. They're the all-seeing, so we'll grant them the celestial now. But another Spook diplomat, I guess, reigns deep in our freedoms and runs out and scares the whole rock world and causes generational beats. I don't know. If only Elvis Presley sing "My Light, My Fire." I know, but anyway, if we could just give them what they really wanted, but you know, science isn't working that fast. We'll take the celestial though when it comes. It couldn't be any other way. The eye is not above us. So, as mid-ground controllers, as air traffic controllers, you might say, we were not appointed unless by anyone else's description of God. Our afterworld is not considered the same. So you're calling Mormons pussies? What? Because why? Because we have a God? What do you mean? Oh, what do you mean? What do I mean? If you are, then, you know, so be it. Your God is a goddess, and you will travel up the feminine lines. So fine if you're a tree and that is your phloem, dear Mormon boy, dear stink of the Mormon. Fine. But our masculine God is still God.
Yeah, let the women have all
And
the
if
ages
you've
they want
lost
to.
your
Go
gender,
ahead.
then fill out and talk in twos and proselytize. Feel free. Be a part of that governing, because that is all you have.
Yeah, who wants to
The workhorse. You know what?
proselytize?
Your top will be the physician. And that is it.
Forcing their way.
Whatever, man. Can we
The
just get down to
president.
business then? Let's just get this done. Fine.